I've been thinking a lot about how easy it is to get in your own way and let your outlook determine your level of happiness. You can have all the external measures of success in the world and still find yourself completely miserable at the end of the day. It's easy to look at people who seemingly have it all and wonder, how the hell could they be so unhappy? They've got everything I want. As it turns out, we're surprisingly good at being the root cause of our own dissatisfaction. Hey, Pop. What's going on?
Hi, Matt. How you doing? Good to see you.
So I'm up here at my parents' cabin in upstate PA and just spending a nice little weekend away with family. And it's really the perfect time to think about a lot of these things. It's really only once we remove ourselves from the noise and the distraction of everyday life that we can start to gain some clarity. And a lot of that really just starts with finding some quiet. I bet you didn't know I was a redneck. It's totally unsafe to ride this thing with one hand, also without a helmet. Yeah, by the way, wear a helmet if you're gonna do this. It's the safe way to do it. Quiet, very important, but also equally important, ATVs. So keep that in mind. In this video, I want to talk about 3 ways that I've started to think about happiness and how I've started to change my perspective about the things that get in my way and affect my personal happiness and well-being. I think one of the biggest ones is setting unrealistic expectations. It's probably impossible to not set any level of expectation in life. When you book a really fancy dinner at a restaurant, you book 3 months in advance, you pay a certain amount for it, you're expecting that the dinner is gonna be amazing. And if it's not up to the standard that you had set for yourself in your mind, then you're gonna be let down. But there's a certain level of expectation when it comes to our careers and our work that I think we can and should be more mindful of. Let's say that you start giving talks in front of live audiences and the first 5 you do amazing. You get standing ovations in every single one, you kill it. Now what's gonna happen? You're gonna start to expect that level of success every single time you go out to give a talk. And that is ultimately going to let you down because you have absolutely no control over how an audience is going to respond to you. You have control over how you show up, how you prepare. There's a certain level of things that you can control going into it, but you can't control how other people behave in every single circumstance. So for me, like when I'm making a video, I'm not worrying about the views, or at least I'm not trying to worry about the views, not trying to worry about the comments, the likes, and how it does. I'm just worrying about, did I put everything I have into this thing? Did I really try my best? If not, I have something to work on, something to work towards. If I did, then I can be happy knowing that I tried my absolute best. The main point being, standing ovations are a terrible metric, which brings me to my next point. Stop worrying about metrics. It's so easy to tie your self-worth to a number on a screen, whether it's the number of likes, comments, or views that you get. You're comparing yourself to other people. We do it because it's easy, because it's much easier to look at a number on a screen than it is to ask the questions of ourselves, are we happy? Are we fulfilled? Are we challenged? There's not easy metrics to determine those things, so we just simply go to the lowest hanging fruit. What's the easiest thing to do? Okay, let me judge myself based upon my friends, my social circle. Am I doing better than them? And those are the things that we base our life around. And it's completely ridiculous, because if we really focused on the things that mattered, the things that truly fulfilled us, we wouldn't be looking at a screen at all for these kind of validations. So the way that we get through this is to decide that we're not going to judge ourselves based on short-term results and based on these silly numbers. But if we look over the course of a year, if we decide that we really tried our best, that we challenged ourselves, we showed up and we really tried, no number on a screen is going to change that. And if we realize that it's okay to be a little bit messy, it's okay to not have everything figured out all the time, we can stop trying to live a life of perfection, because that is an absolute impossible standard to set. And that actually brings me to my next point. Don't be a perfectionist. I don't remember ever making a decision like, hey, I'm gonna be a perfectionist. That's a really smart idea. But I find myself always making these if-then statements in life. If I get this lens, then I'll be able to make amazing videos. If I get 15,000 subscribers, then I'm never gonna have to worry about anything ever again. If I replaced all of the chipped plates in my apartment, then my kitchen will finally be perfect. But perfectionism is an illusion. It's something that can never be attained. Because once we get past that if-then statement, once we replace all of our chip plates, get the lens, whatever it is that we're trying to get that we think will make our lives perfect and complete, something else is gonna come up. Something else is gonna break. Minimalism sometimes can give us the illusion of perfection, but our lives will always get a little bit cluttered, whether it's digital clutter, whether it's toxic relationships, things that we're trying to get through and work through. There's always gonna be something that goes wrong. So the only way to get through it is to embrace a little bit of chaos. Understand that things aren't always gonna go according to plan, and if they did, that would be boring. That would be the most mundane life if every day you woke up and it was as expected. Of course, we want a little bit of control. We want to make sure that we're safe and we have a roof over our head and a meal and all these things, relationships that fulfill us, but we can't strive for perfection because we can't strive for something that doesn't exist. So get rid of that, stop thinking about it. And I'm talking to myself here, not you guys, because perfectionism is, it's something that I've worked through my whole life and I continually try to work on. All of these things that I'm talking about in this video are things that I haven't quite figured out yet. They're things that I'm working on. And this video in so many ways is a reminder to myself to focus on what's important. Don't focus on the bullshit and you'll live a much happier life. It seriously is amazing to be out here, and it really does get you out of your head. And out of all the things that you thought were important when you were in the real world or when you were connected, because we don't have any internet or cell phone service out here, all those things that you thought were important suddenly fade into the distance. And that's why I love doing social media detox, taking some time away, because, oh my God, like, when you're in it, when you're absorbed in it, when it's the only thing that you're thinking about, when it's the first thing that you do in the morning, that's a difficult trap. It's a difficult thing to get out of. And sometimes we just got to take a little bit of a break and get away. Bro. Boom. Bye, buddy. See you soon. Bye, cabin.